following video discusses art therapy interventions and treatment. While origami may be an effective coping skill without the aid of a therapist, these videos are designed to work alongside therapy and are not in themselves a form of treatment. If you are experiencing mental health symptoms, please contact a local mental health care provider. This training will not qualify you as an art therapist. You can learn more about art therapy at arttherapy.org.
Hello again. This is the second mindfulness origami tutorial, and this time we'll be folding paper cranes and talking a bit about the history and symbolism of this particular model. But first, as always, we're going to begin with a mindfulness breathing exercise to get into the right place to start. So we're going to be practicing some counted breathing. There are a lot of different thoughts on the length of breath or the numbers that you should be shooting for. But I believe that you're the expert on your life and on your lungs, so I'm going to talk you through setting your own pace. Begin by gently placing your tongue on the roof of your mouth, just behind your teeth. Breathe in until your lungs feel comfortably full. For me, this is a count of 7. Then hold on to your breath for a short count. I like 3 or 4. Then breathe out through your mouth fully until your lungs feel empty but don't hurt. For me, it's a count of 10. Again, don't push yourself beyond what is comfortable, but try to fill your lungs fully and release the air totally before the next breath. To set your own pace, go ahead and pause and just breathe through while counting what's comfortable for you, and try to maintain that number for 4 or 5 repetitions. The beginning folds of this model are the same as the heart, so as we move through these early folds, I want to tell you a little bit about the history and symbolism that the paper crane carries. There's an ancient Japanese legend that states if someone folds 1,000 paper cranes, they will be granted a wish. This practice, known as Senbazuru, is considered a work of affection and is given as a gesture that represents hope and inspiration. It's most often given to those who are ill as a wish for their speedy recovery. There's a famous story that goes like this. A young girl named Satsuki had developed leukemia from radiation fallout after the bombing of Hiroshima. She was hospitalized when she was 12 years old, and a friend of hers folded Senbazuru to wish her a speedy recovery. This inspired Satsuki to fold her own 1,000 paper cranes, but unfortunately she passed away after completing 644. Satsuki's friends and family got together and completed the 1,000 cranes for her. The story was covered all throughout Japan and was even globally covered. People all over began folding Senbazuru as a way to grieve for Satsuki and the children like her, and with a wish that something like this might never happen again. Today, there's a statue of Satsuki at the Children's Peace Monument in Hiroshima's Peace Memorial Park. It's still common for people to bring paper cranes by the thousands to this statue as a show of support for those who lost loved ones in the attack, and as a symbol of peace and hope. What started out as a personal activity of creating hope became a community and national activity, and shows how powerful art can be, and how powerful symbols can be. With that in mind, let's speed up a little and continue folding this model. To do so, we'll place it face up, and we're going to use its dimension. So you'll see that it kind of wants to fold in, but we're going to let it fold along those seams and pare it down so that it's just 1/4 of its size. You can do that in the way that I've just demonstrated by letting it kind of push in where it wants to, or there's a little bit different way that I can show you here. You'll turn it over, fold it in half, and open it up. We'll push one side half triangle over, and then do the same with the other side, creating that same shape. We'll be careful to leave the open part down at the bottom so that we don't get confused. Now it doesn't matter which side of this we begin with, so I've chosen the pink side here. We're going to take this corner and bring it in to the center to create a straight line across that middle crease. You'll see here that I'm being careful to line it up as straight as I can get it, The straighter we are in the early folds, the more precise the model will be in the later steps. So trying to keep up with that precision is going to be important. We do the same on the other side here, and we continue to carefully line it up. Now, something I like about the crane model is that everything you do here is going to be repeated. So we'll turn it over and do the same step again. Once you master this model, that rhythm of repeating can be really helpful for engaging with your breathing and your mindfulness. You can work to sort of fold along with your breathing or stay in that same rhythm if you can keep it. Maybe you can even line it up with your counted breathing with some practice. The next step we're going to do is fold just across this line where the two pieces of paper came up to meet. It's going to create sort of a triangle, and that crease is going to help us here in a few minutes. Do so on the other side as well with that repetition. Alright, so the next step is to reinforce these seams. So we're just going to fold right back across them and try and stay as much on them as you can. This is going to give us some extra flexibility in these creases. That's going to really help with that next step, the one I've been alluding to for a minute. Okay? So I'm going to switch angles here. The seams have been reinforced. So we're going to lay the paper down with the opening here at the bottom. Now we're going to lift that up, and we're going to put some pressure across that crease that we put to make that triangle earlier. We're going to lift up, and we're going to see the paper opening. It's going to want to flatten itself to a diamond, and that's exactly what we want to do. So we're going to help it, making sure that it stays pretty much straight. And again, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to reinforce those seams on both sides before we open it up and create that diamond shape once again over here. Here we go. Now this step can be a little bit challenging, so making sure that we've reinforced all of those creases that we did earlier is going to help the paper kind of want to lay where we need it to. If you find you're having trouble with this step, check on those creases. As you can see, now it's the same on both sides, and we've got that triangle in the center facing up. We're going to keep it that way, and we're going to, similar to before, bring this corner in to meet the center. Of course, we want to make sure that it stays straight. What we're creating with these folds now is the head and the tail of the crane. So we want them to be pretty precise, otherwise you're going to have some trouble when you get to that step. Again, keeping it straight, we're going to repeat on the other side. And we're going to make sure that these seams or creases are folded pretty strongly. So we're going to put some good pressure and maybe go over them once or twice. We want them to be flat. Perfect. You can see that there's some division. We're going to turn around and do the same thing here to make it match up. Keeping it as straight as we can, we're going to go ahead and take this corner in to the center, just like we did before. If you notice here that you're not getting it quite lined up, so part of the paper underneath the folds we just did are poking out on the side, or the lineup is just not quite straight. With the crane, that precision can be, well, fudged a little bit. We can kind of make it a little smushed when we're forming the little face of the crane, and that can help. I'll show you that here in a second. What we're going to do next is turn it over and open it up like a book. We're going to do that on both sides. So now we have a couple of points at the bottom and a couple of points at the top. Here's where we form our head. So we're going to pull up to where it doesn't want to fold anymore and crease it there. And then we're going to do the same with the back or the tail and crease it. We'll open it once more like a book so that the wings are on the sides. And we'll take the wings and fold them down wherever we'd like. This is where you can really introduce some personality. You can fold the wings the way that I do it, or you can kind of experiment and fold the wings down however you choose. The same with the head and tail. They don't have to be exactly the same for every model you do. You're going to pinch in the center of the bottom of the model, and here's another place where you can add some character. I like to pinch the bottom and pull the head and tail away from each other so that they're a little further out. You're going to pinch it when it hits the spot where you like it the best. You can pull it way out, or you can keep it pretty far in. To make the head, you're going to pick a spot along one of those sticks poking up and just kind of fold down the head, and then you'll push it in to make that stay. You can choose either way, and you can get a big head or a small head. You could even do a couple of extra folds to make a sort of dynamic looking head, however you choose. Here's what mine looks like in the finished model. I hope you enjoyed this piece, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy folding until then.